I'm just getting slurpy.
Aloha, folks. Welcome back to Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour. This is not the Breezeway. I'm at my buddy Adrian's house in Corona, California, in his desert oasis room. I would love to bring on my buddy, Adrian Eustachio. Adrian.
Hello, party people. How's it going? Welcome to the Desert Oasis Room.
So this is Adrian. He has his own YouTube show as well as a podcast, right?
Yeah, I do have the podcast Inside the Desert Oasis Room, which is recorded right here inside the Desert Oasis Room. Sometimes. It used to always be here.
Right.
But then I started doing stuff in bars and stuff and, started supplementing that with the vlog.
You've been doing that for about, what, 6 years?
I'm on the 6th year.
Wow.
Yeah,
amazing.
I don't know how I'm surviving. But here we are.
A lot of interesting content about event coverage and
just general tiki stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been a tiki guy my whole life. Like, we've known each other for over 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Mostly tiki stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So tiki, cocktails, cool cars, fun events. It's not all tiki,
mm-hmm.
But I think we know where all the fun stuff is and the cool stuff is. So
you totally do.
I think the stuff that you guys would find interesting.
Your desert oasis room. I think the first time I was in here was, I don't know if it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah.
And to be back in here again, it just reminds me of how meticulously decorated and appointed it is. It's so, everything's in its spot.
Yeah.
It's like very much, would you say that it's like in the tradition of maybe Trader Vic's more so than Don?
Yes. I'm one of these guys that's like super OCD. I like all the labels facing forward, the small ones in the front, the bigger ones in the back.
Totally.
When I built the Desert Oasis Room, I had more of the look of the museum-like feel from Trader Vic's in mind.
Right.
Versus like the clutter of, say, some of the other tiki bars that we see.
The
clutter drives me nuts.
So, does it really?
Yeah, it drives me nuts. So that's why things are very meticulous in here. But it's still tiki. It's still chock full of stuff, right?
Yeah, it absolutely is. You have an incredible Papua New Guinea collection.
Yeah.
And then your mug collection is shocking.
Yeah, it's funny because, in the early days, we were just buying stuff because there wasn't a lot to buy. Mm-hmm. Right? These days, you people are spoiled. You can pick and choose which mugs you want to buy, which shirts you want to buy, the music, all that stuff. You have so much to choose from. But in the early days, if something came out, it was the only thing that came out, right? For a long time.
You did a good job of collecting just about every mug that came out in the early days of the tiki resurgence. Yeah. And then eventually you get to the point where you're like, I'm gonna have to mortgage my house if I buy every single thing that comes out now.
Right. Well, these days mug prices are through the roof, so I can't do what I used to do. But I think you have enough. I have enough. I have a lot of cool pieces, and I really like the vintage stuff more than the newer stuff. And I have most of the vintage stuff that I want. What I don't have, I'm just not willing to pay for because it's so expensive. So.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It is the beginning of Halloween season, and I've seen you make a cocktail in here that you've invented yourself called the Blood Punch.
Blood Punch.
And I've never had it. And I'm super...
Oh, you haven't?
No.
I thought you've had it before.
Where
Okay.
would I have it?
Here? I don't know.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, so we'll make a Blood Punch.
I'm very excited about this. And so for this cocktail, we will be using lime juice,
freshly squeezed,
Fashionola,
rum.
Wait, what's this rum?
So this is, I can't say what the brand is because they're not paying me. So.
Ooh, I like that.
Year 6 of this podcast, I've learned that people will just try to get all that free advertising as much as they can. So I'm happy to place your product in the show, but it costs me money to produce the show. So throw me a couple of bucks and make it worth my while too, and it becomes a win-win situation, right? So
things may be changing in the Breezeway here pretty shortly. That is a very good point.
Yeah, look, white rum, some taste more boozy than others, depending on the proof, but any white rum will do, really.
Okay.
And then Fashionola, there's a few different brands out on the market. You guys can Google that. I won't say the names because they're not paying me. But, there's a bunch of different Fashionolas in the market. You can also make your own. Do a search on Fashionola recipes. There's recipes in there for that. Then, simple lime juice, right? Freshly squeezed, as always. We know that lime oxidizes after about 20 or 30 minutes. So you got to squeeze that right before you make the drink.
Well, let's start it out. Are we going to make it in a shaker or a mixing tin?
Let's do it in a tin.
Okay.
And we're going to do 2 of them. So we're going to double everything. So
okay.
Let's start by, we'll put some ice in these.
Okay. What, out of this thing?
Yep.
Dude, look at this.
Pretty cool, huh?
Diver's helmet. I thought the only person in the world that had this was Alan Smart.
Alan's got a cool one. I've seen other people with that. So fill that all the way up to the top.
Okay. And we're using Tony's at the Pier glasses.
Tony's at the Pier glasses.
I've only been in there once and I never had a drink.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, you need to go back. So Tony's on the pier, right there in Redondo Beach.
The Hula Girls were playing a venue right there. I think it was called Brixton or Brix.
Yeah, Brixton.
With Slim Jim Phantom of the Stray Cats.
Right.
You were there.
I was at that show.
Yeah.
Great show. Okay, put another scoop in here.
Oh.
So you get this glass with the Mai Tai. One time I was in there and this old lady walked up to me and she had like, I think 6 of them.
Oh.
She says, hey, would you like my glasses?
Yeah.
I said, what, you don't want these? And she said, well, no, if I bring these home, my husband will know that I was here drinking all night. So I said, all right, cool. So I use them here in the bar because if anything happens, it's not a big loss. All right, so the Blood Punch uses the classic golden ratio. You take equal parts of tart and sweet, and then you double that for the spirit. So it's 1, 1, 2.
Oh, okay.
1, 1, 2. Margaritas, daiquiris, a bunch of drinks like that. If you Google that, you'll see a chart. There's like 100 classics that are all made with the golden ratio. So I use the golden ratio to develop this drink. And it's a way that you can make yourself a halfway decent cocktail if you go to a party and you see a table just full of stuff and you think, what can I do?
Right.
Well, I just take equal parts of tart and sweet, and then I double the spirit.
Wow. Okay. That's probably the best tip we've had on this show.
So, and then here's another tip, which you probably already know this. I start with the cheapest ingredient first, so that if you screw up, you're not dumping out your spirit.
Yep. Right. Always juices, always mixes first.
Yep. So equal part of tart and sweet, and then we're going to double it. So we did 1 of each of those, and then we're going to do 2 of the white rum.
Okay. Is that it?
And that's the Blood Punch.
Dude, that's
pretty
really simple, except that the big curveball is this ingredient that almost nobody uses anymore.
Right. And then something that I like to do, I use this stuff called frothy.
Frothy.
If you use egg whites, you get that really frothy.
Oh, but it's kind of gross.
Well, it's kind of gross, but it's also more work, and some people actually get sick from it. Because it's raw egg whites, or you can use powder, or some people are just allergic or whatever. But frothy is an artificial version of that, so I give that a little squirt just to give us a little bit of froth. And then I'll have you
frothy
put that in the drink mixer.
Okay, for how
so
long?
Stick it all the way up in there. I don't know, you gauge it. 3 seconds, 5 seconds? Is
that good?
That's good. Okay. All right, so this is why we call it the Blood Punch.
Oh, wow.
So that comes from the Fashionola.
Wow, that color's crazy.
Right. And there's a couple ways that we can garnish this. We can garnish this a couple different ways. We can put like a spent lime shell in there.
Okay,
That's good.
Is that too much ice?
Yeah, I like these plumerias. I just pulled these from my backyard. See how they're red on the back.
Okay.
And then I have these like bigger ones that are white and yellow. Right.
Now, these are not edible, right?
They're not edible.
Okay.
But they won't kill you if you float them in your drink.
Oh,
they look pretty like this, right? So let's do this. I'm gonna put one like this, and we'll put like a spent lime shell in here.
Okay.
So we'll garnish one way.
Very Trader Vic's.
Put a couple of those on there. All right. So this is how we're gonna garnish one of them.
Okay.
Very traditional Trader Vic's-y looking, right, with flowers. But this is a Halloween show. This is a Halloween show.
It is a Halloween show.
Let's do this. Let's do a Halloween-y kind of. Is Halloween-y a word?
Yeah.
We're gonna do a bloodshot eyeball.
Dude.
We'll float one of those in there.
Okay.
And then let's do squid tentacle.
Squid tentacle.
Look at that. Or whatever. What is this if it's green?
I don't know.
A creature.
It's a creature tentacle.
Tentacle.
Okay.
So there's our Halloween version.
Wow.
And we can even fancy that up if we want to put this in a lime shell, right?
Oh.
Grab one of these.
Weird. Oh,
just for a photo op. How's that?
Totally. That's great.
Same drink, 2 different garnishes.
And so, from inside the Desert Oasis room in Corona, California, this is the Blood Punch.
Blood Punch.
Which one do I get?
Right. Whichever one you want.
What if I want the tentacle?
Do you want this one?
I do. I totally do.
That one can be yours.
All right.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Here we go.
Super excited about this. Oh, tangy up front. Fashionola is, I think it's a flavor I haven't really tasted too much before.
Right. So it's not pomegranate, because pomegranate is for grenadine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really more of like a combination of raspberry and and
Oh!
other tropical fruits.
That's what I'm getting. Like a bit of raspberry in there.
Yeah.
And then the lime juice, of course,
The
is
lime.
like a standard base kind of.
You should taste all of that, and it shouldn't be boozy. The idea is that the drink is tart and sweet and refreshing.
Sure. You get like just a hint of the booze on the very end.
Just on the very end.
Yeah.
And you'll get more
good
of that depending on the booze that you choose. So if you use a stronger
What did you
proof
say?
that you use.
The booze that you choose.
That you choose to use. I'm a poet and didn't know it.
I know.
If you want it to be more boozy, don't up the booze, up the proof.
Oh.
Yeah, that way
interesting.
you're not messing with the golden ratio. The golden ratio stays the same.
Right.
Right. 1-1-2.
When I created my first cocktail, literally my first cocktail ever, I looked at drinks of the Maikai. And,
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of worked backwards.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
there.
yeah. That's how we all start. Right? We all start with a drink that we like, and we say, how are we going to
Yeah,
adjust
something
it to
new.
like something that's different, but still keeping in the spirit of the drink.
But I like that golden ratio.
Golden ratio, and then the Planter's Punch recipe is the 1 of sour, 2 of sweet, 3 of strong, 4 of weak, which is really 1 of sour, 2 of sweet. That's really kind of the only difference. 3 of strong,
Oh, right.
then 4 of weak, which is your ice.
Right, which is water basically, right?
Right.
I think the first time that you and I met was on a tiki bus tour.
Was there a bus? No.
No.
I remember how we met. And I don't normally remember how I met most people in the tiki community because
It's usually a Tiki Oasis.
Yeah,
or-
yeah, and half the time it's through someone else. And
Right.
if I recall correctly, we met at Kona Lanes.
Yeah.
And is it Long Beach? Was it Long Beach?
Costa
or-
Mesa, which was an amazing tiki-themed bowling alley. I moved within walking distance from the place just as they tore it down.
Right. So that particular night was set up as kind of a final, enjoy it while it's still around, right?
Right.
We had bowling, and they had like this little, there's a dive bar with, they had this like lava rock
Yeah.
around the stage, right? Because it's a tiki place. And you were karaoke singing.
Thank God there's no video of that.
Oh, we don't know. There might be.
Cell phones back then weren't good enough. It would probably be some tiny little video that barely
Right.
plays. Just like all of the photos of you and I at Taboo Cove in Las Vegas.
Vegas.
We're
So-
all corrupted and they're tiny.
So way back in the day,
Ugh.
it was, I think, probably the first revival bar, right? Designed by Bosco.
Right.
At the Venetian Hotel. It was a place called Taboo Cove, and it was across from Venus.
Oh, Venus, yeah.
Venus,
in
which
Paris.
was designed by Shag.
Right. Just almost impossible to find.
Yeah, it was impossible to find. We had a really fabulous weekend there. That weekend was Mondo Tiki.
Yeah, at
Tiki
the Hard
Farm
Rock.
put it on. It was at the Hard Rock Cafe, and it happened to fall on the same weekend as Viva.
Yeah, one of the earlier Viva Las Vegases.
Yeah, we walked around Viva together.
I know.
It was 2003, I think.
Yeah, because there were those big mugs.
That was
they
almost
did.
20 years ago. Yeah, that's crazy. We went to that early Viva almost 20 years ago. We walked around, and I just remember us walking around Viva kind of like not knowing like what to
What
do,
is
where
this?
to go.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
We were just like, what's going on here? Like, where do we go? So what's the thing?
Yeah.
And there were bands playing. Hard Rock was cool. Shag had those chips, those limited edition chips.
I still have one
I
of
think.
those.
Was there only one or was there two?
I don't know.
Because I have one in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah.
Really cool collectible. It was actually a gaming chip. It was not just made for collecting. It had like a $5 value on it or
Yeah.
something. You could use it at the tables.
And they're probably worth way more now.
Way more.
So we met a long time ago at events that were really like locally centralized,
Yeah.
small group of
Yeah.
people who were into tiki. Now it's like, it's such a wide
It's
berth
insane.
of people who are involved.
Yeah. Well, we had Tiki Oasis back in Palm Springs at that time.
Yeah.
Which was, to me, that I kind of think those were the golden years. You know, they were smaller, more intimate. We had really no drama, right? Not the way that it is today.
Oh yeah. And but a small amount of bands that were really like beloved by the crowds.
Beloved, really niche to the genre, really niche to the scene, the culture or subculture, whatever you call it. So they were kind of like, they were our band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And now there are so many bands doing not only surf and exotica, but even kind of winding their way into my world of like mixing rockabilly with Hawaiian and
Does that
tiki.
bug you?
No, it doesn't bug me. But I think that we've been around long enough that we've kind of stamped our stamped our claim of what we've accomplished and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I never expected to be, rich and famous from the Hula Girls.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that from this. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so like all this stuff that we're doing, I'll speak for myself, like this comes from just being passionate about this particular genre and this particular subculture that I enjoy. It's just who I am, so.
Yeah, you can't separate
so
us from this thing.
This is just how I document, my research is all documented digitally, right? It's through audio and video. There's people who write their books, which is great, I'm not that person.
Speaking of that, you were telling me that did you say you were an executive producer?
I'm part of the production team for The Dawn of Tiki.
Right, and The Dawn of Tiki, of course, is a documentary chronicling the life and exploits of Don Beach.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff in there that we didn't know, and the stuff that we thought we knew
is right or wrong,
turns it upside down.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're gonna be blown away. Like some of the stuff just blew me away.
Wow.
It's an intense story. I say this all the time. I'm this guy that I'm always fascinated by the butterfly effect. You and I would not be doing this podcast or this video right now if some dude didn't open a bar in a hotel lobby in 1933.
Right.
And almost 100 years later, we're recording this video.
Wait, what do you mean?
As a direct result of him opening that bar. Because if Don didn't open Beachcomber Cafe,
right,
it started in the lobby.
It was in a hotel?
Yeah, it was in a hotel of the
McCadden Place one?
The McCadden Hotel. It was in the lobby.
Oh, I had no idea.
For 2 years. So the McCadden Hotel was at 1722. It started 1722.
Oh.
It didn't go to 1727 until he moved across the street into his own space.
I see.
So that photo that you see
of him sitting out in front of the
entrance with the bamboo and the
tiles.
And the tiles. That was 1727 when he opened his own place. There was no photos of the hotel lobby. No one knew what the original Don Beachcomber looked like.
Wow.
But in the documentary, you'll get to even see the floor plans of the hotel.
So many people have found receipts and statements and books from Don the Beachcomber, like the books for the businesses.
Yeah.
So all kinds of stuff has really come to light.
It's crazy. Everything that we knew about Don. Some of it's true. But there's so many layers to this guy and his story that you guys are really gonna be blown away. I'm blown away. So, I've been in this tiki thing for decades, and I thought I knew everything about Don.
Sure.
And just in the past year, all the things I've learned, year and a half.
But we also have a tendency to probably deify these people. You know what I mean? Like Don and even Stephen Crane and of course Vic and Vic. Is there one thing in particular that you can share that shocked you? Or do we have to watch the thing?
Let me see. Let me think about what I can share. Because there's a lot I'm not supposed to share. Most of it I'm not supposed to share. Let me think about this. I won't say how it originated, but the story that we know for the zombie is not accurate.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that's not accurate.
Okay, interesting.
The real story, the real accurate story, comes from Sunny Sun's daughter. Sunny Sun was Don's wife. She's the one who took over the Don the Beachcomber Corporation. So that's one of the things.
Interesting.
Yeah. This whole thing that we thought, this is how it was invented. That's one of the stories that gets turned upside down.
Do you know about Delia from Don the Beachcomber and Sunset Beach dating Don Beach?
Yeah, she didn't.
She didn't?
Yeah, she didn't. And that came from her mouth.
Oh!
Yeah, that came from Delia's mouth.
I believe our friend Bamboo Ben said that.
Yeah, that's an inaccuracy. Actually, she laughed when she...
Oh, they finally got a hold of her?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, as we are... I don't know if I should be sharing this.
Sure.
As we are filming this right now, the production team is with Delia right now.
Are they at the old location of Don the Beachcomber?
No, they're not.
Okay.
But I'll tell you.
That was red tagged.
I'll tell you off camera what's happening.
Okay. That building was red tagged as a no occupancy until the structural issues fixed.
There's a lot of things about that building that there's a lot of issues. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So part of why it's not coming back is that it needs a lot, and it needs probably more than it's worth.
Yeah, it would take somebody with an exorbitant amount of disposable cash to be able to...
That would do it...
Basically rebuild it.
Yeah, do it as a passion and not as an investment, because there would be no recouping the investment that it would require.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame, but It is what it is. But you know, like it had a good run. I mean, not just as Don's, but as Sam's Seafood.
Yeah.
Sam's Seafood was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, in the early days of the Tiki thing, I remember telling the Tiki Forum, Tiki Central, that I had discovered this great Polynesian palace. I was like, I drove past it the other day. It was on Coast Highway and there's all these palm trees. I was like, I think it's a place. And all these guys that had been talking well before I got onto Tiki Central were like, oh, really? Tell us about this magical tiki place you found. And they already all knew about it and stuff.
We used to go there on Mondays for all-you-can-eat crab legs.
Right. It
was all-you-can-eat snow crab for like $12 or something.
And I think I met Sabu there.
Yeah.
And then maybe you, I don't know if you were there.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
They had those weird chairs that were like horseshoe shaped that spun around, took up all this space. They had this giant Budweiser light that had the Clydesdales that would run around it up in the corner. And this crazy guy named Tommy that used to manage the bar.
Yeah, Asian dude, right?
Asian guy. He was kind of like Arnold from,
he was totally Arnold.
From Happy Days.
Yeah.
Right? And
he would make horrible drinks.
He'd make horrible drinks, but we drink them.
But that's just because we were excited to be in a vintage tiki bar.
Yeah.
And this didn't happen yet. The craft cocktail thing was so far away.
No. So, yeah, back then it was, you took what you could get, right? So
this is back when Beach Bum Berry was still, I think.
Yeah, this was pre-Groglog. He was Xerox copying his Groglog and stapling them and handing them out at parties.
Right.
It wasn't a published book yet.
Right.
The craft cocktail thing wasn't a thing yet. You know, these days, I remember back then it was a big deal to get a craft cocktail. These days, you can walk in any decent bar or restaurant and get a crafted cocktail.
They still probably won't know what a daiquiri is, and they still probably won't know what a Mai Tai is.
They put it in a blender, it's not a daiquiri.
Yeah.
They put pineapple juice in it, it's not a Mai Tai.
Right. Well, but then there's that whole conversation.
Right, of the Hawaiian Mai Tai.
The versions that Vic ended up making for the Matson line and stuff.
So supposedly the first Hawaiian Mai Tai was at the Royal Hawaiian.
Oh, right.
In Waikiki.
At the surf room. What is your favorite tiki bar?
Oh, okay.
Oh, I know what your favorite tiki bar is. So, I'm leaning on the bar mat of it. So
I get this question a lot.
Yeah.
My favorite tiki bar is the Tiki Tea for a number of reasons. Number one, the history and legacy. So let's talk about the history. It was opened by Ray Buin, one of Don the Beachcomber's original 4 bartenders.
1961.
And the legacy is that his son and grandson still run it.
Right.
What I love about the Tiki Tea is it's the sum of all parts. If you're going to the Tiki Tea for a crafted cocktail, you're doing it wrong. No one goes there for a crafted cocktail. If you want a crafted cocktail, you can go anywhere to get that. Everybody knows where to get a crafted cocktail.
Okay.
Right? Everybody has their list for that.
Yeah.
But you go to Tiki Tea for camaraderie, for atmosphere. You'll get a decent drink there.
The drinks are great.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get a crafted cocktail. So, you know, when people say like, oh, I went there, I don't know what the big deal is. The drinks were okay.
Oh, right.
Right? You went there for all the wrong reasons. Okay, so I'll say that. Now, I'm very close friends with the Buins. They've become an extended family for me. I'm friends with a lot of the regulars. It's my home away from home. I love it. And I'm there on Wednesdays, so if you guys ever want to come and hang out, I'll be there on Wednesday. Come see me.
Like every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday. I haven't missed Wednesday for decades. For a long time.
Aside from lockdown, right?
Aside from lockdown, or if I'm traveling.
Right.
So if I'm traveling for work or whatever it is, and I can't be there. But if I'm not traveling, I'll be there.
That's wild.
So that's my answer for my favorite bar. Mm-hmm. It's not the best bar.
Oh,
because people have asked me, like, they've said, oh, so you think that's the best bar? And I said, oh, no, you didn't ask me what the best bar is.
Okay, well, what is the best bar in your opinion?
In my opinion, the best bar is the Molokai bar at the Mai Kai. Mm. Now.
Okay, we have a moratorium on the show of saying that.
Oh, you really?
Because it's such an obvious, it's hard to refute that it's the best bar. And it's the same kind of thing, the sum of all parts as far as like legacy and decor and cocktail presentation, all that kind of stuff. So.
I apologize.
I mean, you know, we don't have to make like a thing out of it.
Well, so here's the thing. The Tiki Tea and the Mai Kai are almost like stepbrothers. And here's why.
Okay.
They're the only 2 bars in the world that have the original secret recipes handed down from Don the Beachcomber.
Oh.
Because we know that the ones at Tiki Tea came from Ray Buin.
Right.
And the ones from the Mai Kai came from Mariano Liquidine.
Right.
And those are the only 2 that we know that went all the way back to the original Don the Beachcomber. So there are no other bars in the world that can make that statement. But the difference between the Tiki Tea and the Mai Kai is that the family is still involved in the business. Mariano's long gone.
Sure.
So they're using his recipes. They may even be tweaking them based on ingredient availability, spirit availability,
Current palates, maybe.
current palettes, things become discontinued and all that. So they may be tweaking them. The Tiki Tea does that too, but they're still raised families. So the bloodline goes all the way back to 1933. The Maikai can't say that anymore, but their recipes do.
Right.
And there's no other bars in the world other than those two bars have that lineage.
And
so
for a couple of
so
dudes,
they're like stepbrothers.
yeah, and for a couple of dudes that really appreciate the vintage thing, the history of tiki, I mean, how do you refute that?
Yeah. So I didn't know about the moratorium.
Well,
so I have to tell your viewers
What?
that. So I muted you. I told you this.
Muted me?
I muted you. Well, I still follow you, but I muted you so that, because one time.
Oh, what, on Instagram or something?
We did a video. Yeah, we did a video that was very similar.
Oh.
And we released them, I think, a week apart.
Really?
Yeah, and my thought was like, oh man, like, did I get that idea because I saw it? Or you know what I mean? Like,
right.
So
you don't want to be influenced.
I didn't want to look like I was copying your stuff. And so like, there's comics that like they develop in a vacuum because they get accused of stealing jokes or they get accused of stealing material. They maybe they didn't, but they may have been subconsciously influenced. And we see this in the tiki world with mugs, where we see mug makers arguing with other mug makers, saying that was my idea, you stole my idea.
Totally.
And so I thought, I didn't unsubscribe or anything. I just thought, like, what's the safest way to do this without being accused of copying your content? But I check in every once in a while. You see me like and comment, so I check in every once in a while. But that's why I didn't know about the moratorium, because
because you're not watching every episode.
Yeah, because I don't want to be like, oh yeah, you know what would be fun, and then I end up doing something that's like, oh yeah, Spike did that. Like,
well, it's such a finite world that we're in as far as like the number of bars and the cocktail things.
Yeah.
So it's like, of course we're gonna end up doing each other's thing.
It was a Mai Tai video, by the way.
Oh,
I did a video where we compared the QB Cooler.
Oh, right.
Which is largely speculated to be the motivation for Vic developing a Mai Tai.
Right.
And we compared it against the Mai Tai, and I did that with the Dawn of Tiki guys when they were here recording a podcast. And then I released it, and then I saw that the same week you released something on the Mai Tai, and I thought, oh my God, people are going to think that I just copied this guy, you know? So
what's the tiki bar? If it's not the Molokai bar in the Maikai, if it's not the Tiki Tea, what's the best bar?
Ooh. Are we talking new age, or are we talking old school?
If you could be at any tiki bar that is currently open, but not necessarily, but is not the Maikai or the Tiki Tea, where would you want to be?
Okay. I don't know if it's tiki.
Oh.
I'm going to say Smuggler's Cove. And the reason why I say I don't know if it's tiki is Martin hates it when people call it, well, he does, I don't know. I should say, so like a lot of people call it a pirate bar, and he hates it when people call it a pirate bar.
Yeah, I'd have a problem with that too.
But it's got a giant anchor on the ceiling. They serve rum. It's full of rum barrels. And, you know.
He does have a couple tikis in there, right?
He does have a couple tikis.
Yeah. And Martin, of course, came out of the tiki world. Like,
the drinks are fabulous.
Yeah. After visiting the Inferno Room, I would say that I would have a hard time not.
So you really liked it? Inferno
Shocking.
Room. Yeah, okay.
Drinks, service, the bar staff. I
haven't been there yet.
Yeah. If you can find your way out to Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay.
Well worth the trip.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there. Max's in Grand Rapids is great.
I still have not been there. That's the other one that people go.
It's another great one.
It's phenomenal, yeah.
You know, one of my favorite bars, which is like, I guess you could call it a tiki bar, is Skull and Crown in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. I still haven't managed to get out there yet.
False Idol is another good one. Mm-hmm. And then if you're in the San Francisco area, I really like Last Rites. They're not a tiki bar.
Okay.
But it's kind of like an Indiana Jones theme. Like it's like a downed airplane theme.
Okay.
They have the fuselage of an airplane as the bar.
Right.
And you sit in these aircraft seats for the bar stools. And they have a nice immersive thing happening there. Mm-hmm. So there's great bars all over the place.
It's not like when we were starting out at like Sam's Seafood.
These days, like San Francisco has an embarrassment of riches. I counted something like 26.
Really?
I'm not kidding.
See, if I go to San Francisco, it's always Smuggler's Cove, Tonga Room.
Yeah.
And then some of the other ones, maybe Zombie Village or something like that.
Yeah, so Smuggler's Cove, Tonga Rooms, Zombie Village, Pagan Idol, Forbidden Island, Trader Vic's, Bamboo Room.
Oh yeah.
They have the new one, Wilfred's. They have Dr. Funk. They have Hula Hoops. So I'm at 10 already.
Sheesh.
I mean, we can keep going.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
There's more. We're just not thinking about it. Kontiki. Yeah, we can go on and on. There's a lot of them up there.
Well, I think we have definitely done our duty here. I did want to give you this.
Oh, nice.
If you would like to be a member of our Patreon and help support the show, you can get a pin like Adrian.
I love it.
Yeah, and so for $10 a month, you can join the thing, and I'll send you the thing, and
Very nice.
yeah,
Very
thanks,
nice.
dude. Thanks for having me out at this place.
Yeah, appreciate you coming out here to the Desert Oasis Room. I know I don't exactly live around the corner.
It's a ways.
So
If you want to follow Adrian and his show, you can follow that on Instagram
at Polynesian Pop is my name, my main account. My podcast is Inside the Desert Oasis Room. I release new episodes at desertoasisroom.com, but you can find it on any media outlet like Apple Music or Spotify or iHeartRadio, Google Play. Google it. It'll be on every media outlet out there.
It's a great show.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And my YouTube is youtube.com/Polynesian Pop. It's a supplement to that. But I get out of this room and I go out and I do stuff. The tiki events, go to the bars and stuff. And, you know, if you like to follow my adventures.
Fun show. It really is.
Thanks. Thanks.
Folks, if you enjoyed this, please be sure to like, comment, hit the subscribe button if you aren't already. And we will see you in the next cocktail episode. Aloha.
Cheers, party people.
Yeah, cheers.
All right.
I'm at my buddy Adrian's house in, wait, what the hell city is this? I would love to bring onto the show my buddy Adrian Esco.
Eustaquio.
Is that how you say it? Yeah. Are you sure?
Eustaquio.
Eustaquio. Well, it is the beginning of Halloween season. Let me just say that again because I did a weird breathing thing. And so, wait, which camera? And so, from inside the Desert Oasis Room,
It's like we've never done this before.
I know.
Right? We both have these shows with people who actually subscribe to us.
I know. People are always like, your shows are so
I edited
good.
all this bad stuff out, so.
Yeah, I let him peek behind the horrifying curtain.
You want to hear a joke? No. I don't have a joke.
Oh.